A very good evening to all our viewers. I'm Mariam Gunawjaya and I'm here at the Artra magazine's launch of the Laki Senanayake edition and Art Experiential Festival, and I'm here for a Newsfirst exclusive with architect and artist Ismeth Raheem. A very good evening to you, Mr. Raheem. We are here to discuss mostly about Mr. Laki Senanayake. So we'll start off by asking Mr. Raheem, what makes Laki Senanayake's artwork so unique?
Well, that's a very tall question, but he is an artist who worked a large repertoire of work, and he worked in different mediums. He worked as an architectural assistant, he worked as a textile designer, he worked as an illustrator of books, natural history, and he even supplied plants and became a landscape artist. So that for a single person is quite a huge task over 6 decades of hard work. And above all, I think he has done, amongst many things, he also designed the currency notes for the Central Bank of Sri Lanka, which was voted as one of the best design illustrated by the World Antiquarian Currency Market, and one of the underground stations in Paris had a long 20-foot mural on the wall of the 20 rupee note, which is quite fantastic. But the unfortunate thing was the Sri Lankan Central Bank thought it wise to take his notes off from circulation in less than about 3 or 4 years.
Why was that, Mr. Raheem? Can you elaborate on that a bit more?
Exact reasons for those are in this country very difficult to find. Mostly the reasons are purely political or far from economic, but purely political. I feel that the designers who were generally presented with the job, who were regular designers, had kicked up a row about this sort of work being carried out by outsiders. I think that was one of the reasons, but I cannot give you any more reasons as to why such beautiful notes were taken off.
Of course, Mr. Raheem. Focusing more on the artwork done by Mr. Senanayake, a unique artist like that definitely would have had a unique working style as well. What would you say was the impact that was created to the industry by Mr. Laki Senanayake's working style?
Well, like I said in my lecture, the unfortunate thing is that because he worked in isolation in Deobubula estate in Dambulla, right, he had this problem of being a solitary artist, and therefore I think that he didn't have so much of the sort of patronage he should have had, and except in the field of batik, but even there it was a very limited amount of influence he had. And I think he is one of those artists who have been for a long time isolated from the mainstream of considered to be good artists. It happens in all, you take the Impressionists in France, they were not allowed to exhibit, and their paintings are now the most expensive paintings you can buy. So I think art has gone through this sort of, deliberate exclusion from the social and society, you know, they lived in.
Speaking of Diya Bubula in Dambula, now that has featured in many of Mr. Laki Senanayake's artwork. What are the other inspirations that you know of that he has used in his artwork, sculptures and much more?
Well, most of his work was actually patronized by Jeffrey Barber, the architect, who really brought him up from the artist he was, and virtually all the hotels that Barber designed, starting from Bentota Beach in 1970, Serendip Hotel, you know, and the two Edkin Spence hotels along the coast, Neptune, and the other one I'm not quite sure the name, but then Kandalama, and even the Parliament, which has a huge lantern, you know, which light fitting, which he designed. So he was mainly working in collaboration with Mr. Barber.
And my final question to you, Mr. Raheem. We're at Atra Magazine's launch of the Laki Senanayake edition and the Art Experiential Festival. How do you think he would have felt if he was here and there was a launch of this magazine? As a friend who has been with him, who's known him for so many decades, what do you feel that he would have felt if he was here today?
Well, being the person he was, he would have thought that it's a huge fuss about nothing. In that way, he was quite humble and sort of, you know, allergic to this sort of, you know, festive sort of thing. But in a way, he would have appreciated that younger people like Miss Jalil are taking up the challenge and spreading the, you know, the approach to his work, which is, you know, which is long waiting for to be done. You know, that was.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ismeth Raheem, for being with us, artist and renowned architect of Sri Lanka. We are here once again at the Atra Magazine's launch of the Laki Senanayake edition and Art Experiential Festival for the Newsfirst team and Mariam Gunavijaya. Thank you for being with us.